Hello, welcome to The Honest Wargamer. Hello, welcome to The Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to Stream Street Day 373? 373. The road to 469. Buckle up, Broncos. It's time to party. Today, I'm going to be doing some painting and hanging out. We've got a great 40k show planned, looking at Warzone Corridon later tonight. And I'm doing a list diary show tomorrow with the Owen Jackson. So today, I'm just going to do some painting because I've got a lot of painting to do. Big up, Twitch chat, podcast bros, stay hydrated. And of course, Patreon, thank you so much. So much. Means loads. Someone yesterday joined for like $1.50 and it was like, fucking, I love that. I was like, that's what you got? That's all. That fucking, thank you so much. Also, in the chat, big shout out to Smorgan. Smorgan did an amazing video yesterday. If you guys want to go check it out, Smorgan, if you could just drop the link in the chat for me, that would be great. Over on YouTube, a really nice series that I think Smorgan's starting, and I'm all for it. So if you guys could, if Smorgan could drop the link in the chat, and if he doesn't do it, someone else go find the link. Hello everyone, Joe, N.A. Brooks, Eric Sorbin, gorgeous, Mr. Gronin, Chris Seeby, Dan Don't, Stu, Redacted, McLeod. McLeod, I normally podcast while out for bike rides, always hydrated. I'm going to sip one for you, my friend. Let's go. Put the link in the chat. Right. So, you're a babe. I'm painting today. Oh, if you guys want to see what I'm painting while I paint, and then we can just take some questions, talk about whatever you like. All aboard the whatever. This is, I've used a bit of an airbrush on this. If you guys want to get a bit techie, there you go. And I'm painting up all these bits of wood. Dear God, there's a lot of terrain to paint. I did like a 12-hour shift at the painting station yesterday, but I wasn't painting yesterday. Yesterday I was, so the stuff you can see on the bottom, we've used like MDF wood, and then I've used a mixture of sand and cat litter, would you believe it? So I don't know if you guys can see these small gems here. That's actually cat litter, quite cheap. And it absorbs a bit of the PVA I used to pin it down, so it becomes quite solid, which is nice. So that's my current. So I did that yesterday to, I think, 50 pieces of terrain I stuck down. Stuck to wood, I merely put it up, and then I put sand on it, and then I'm going to go like kind of seal it in later with sand. So it was a long day yesterday. Big old day. Rud R. Duffy, thank you for subscribing. First time? What up? That's great. Yeah, so there's a link there in the chat by Smorgan if you guys want to go check it out where he's talking about Sinesh. It's really nice. It's really well done. And you guys really should take the time, in my opinion, to go and watch it and give him a sub and listen to more of his stuff. I'm looking forward to more of that series. It's nice having something for me to listen to. So big love to you, Smorgan. I hope this is for pegging. Oh my God. Sounds like good. Yo, I'm going to live from COVID vaccination room. Gitley! Just got my second jab. Nice! Congratulations, Gitley. I can't wait for us all to get vaccinated up. Cat lit to alleviate the smell of nerds. No. I think it works quite nicely, actually. As I understand it, I did a bit of research on it beforehand. It doesn't break down over time. So it's just a really nice way to get kind of like those diamond-shaped rocks, which I thought was fun, instead of buying pebbles or whatever. Hey, Dan Brook, remember my headphones today. Listen to yours on run. Good luck on that run. Stay healthy. Are you going to read our fortunes face to faces? No, I'm not. I do have a thing that I think is quite interesting, but I don't know if you guys have got any questions before I get into the one thing I was thinking today, because it's only the one thing that I was thinking. So I don't know if you guys want anything you want to talk about. Podcast Bros. This is just me waffling, man. Like, love your tons. Hope you well. Listening to it from my bed. Time for work. Go on, Jog PLC. All right. I'll hit you up with Rob. What are your initial thoughts on the Swordmasters and type profiles, JP? I saw you ask that earlier. It's fine. Like, as in the power level at the minute is fine. I obviously don't think stuff that auto happens is very good, personally. And I've said this time and time again. And actually, if you guys go, well, I don't imagine you will, but one of the current kind of conversations, or not one of the current conversations, one of the ongoing conversations that I've had with the 40k lads for years and years and years, is for a long time you would have like Space Marines sometimes hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s, or hitting on 3s, re-rolling everything. And it just feels like a waste of time. So obviously the thing I'm referencing is the Swordmasters have got an ability to auto-hit. It's only damage 1, and it's only 1 attack each at the moment. Maybe we'll have plus attacks land on them as some sort of profile, which is nice. And I imagine with I imagine in Age of Sigmar 3 we're going to get a cap for +1 to hit, -1 to hit. So really you're ever going to be at -1 to hit. So auto-hitting things like in that environment, I guess, is not quite as bad. But I just don't think it's... Oh, Bobbin, thanks for resubscribing. Big love to you. Whoop, whoop. I don't know. I just think it's a bit lame. Like, I just think auto-hitting... Or I think auto most things is a bit lame. Obviously, I like abilities that do stuff. I think that adds loads of flavour to a unit, and I think it's cool. But it feels like it's a core mechanic that they're just avoiding. I mean, even twos re-rolling 1s, you can fail, right? And that'll make a clutch story in a game. You'll be like, oh, clutch story in a game. He only had 2 attacks left. He needed to kill me. But it was 2s re-rolling 1s, and he rolled the 2 1s into 2 more 1s, and it was amazing. Like, great story. Just I don't like it personally. Its power level is to be seen because we don't know about points, we don't know about a bunch of other stuff, but personally I don't think it's very good design. What does everyone else think in the chat? I would like to know what your thoughts are on it. I don't think that part is particularly fun and engaging, and I think that's the thing that they should be trying to do. I talk about, obviously, the power level of stuff all the time, but the thing I'm most interested in, or I'm most excited for, of course, is for people to have fun and engaging games. That's one of the things that I personally am most invested in. That's why I talk about, that's why we started doing the stats and a bunch of other stuff so people could really understand where they were at and what they could achieve. Coral Dawn, thank you for 100 bits. That's whoop whoop, because we got a hype train. Oh, nice. Couldn't catch you live this week, but AOS show since Monday, Bennett yesterday, so one of the best. Thanks, Eric Sorman. Eric's Orbonen. I'll try and get that right. I've seen an hour listening to Mysterious Stranger in Everyone's Future. You are really improving the painting, dude. It's great but annoying on a personal level, as I think I've hit my ceiling. Oh, I don't think I am, buddy. I don't think I am. I just think what I'm painting is really nice, as opposed to I'm improving in my painting. But I appreciate you. Does the LRL book being as good as it is looking mean like the vampires are going to be crapped on? It's not really the pattern kids with SIDS. Oh, thanks Lord Whale for donating 100 bits. Whoop whoop. I don't think... listen, there were 2 guys. Actually, I'm going to do a show on this next Wednesday. So on Wednesday, me and Donal are going to do a show about the bin writer versus the sin writer. We're going to try and break it down. I might, on another show this week, ask your guys' input, or I might do a little poll on Twitter or like a little thing, and see what you guys think. But it's clear that there are 2 writers, and I guess we all kind of hope at this stage that we get the sin guy. Donal came up with a really great point yesterday. We were talking back and forth. His point is it sometimes feel like what we want as a crowd, and if I'm wrong, please chip in with your opinion. What we want as a crowd, as gamers, as people who want to play games, we want to enjoy all of our miniatures and everything. What we really, really, really want is like a rock, paper, scissors mechanic. And you kind of feel that the bad writer, so there's the guy who doesn't really understand how abilities and things work together and writes pretty bad tomes. Thanks to the Hobby Room for subscribing. That's very much appreciated. Although Tom Dix, thanks for gifting that gift subscription to the Hobby Room. Whoop whoop. What we really want is, I think we want internal balance more than external balance. I agree with kids with SIDS. But the point is it would be quite nice if we ended up with rock, paper, scissors mechanics, even if the bad guy writer, who doesn't really understand how to write rules well and ends up making a bunch of janky, half-assed books, if all of the books were done by that guy, that was great. The problem is, there's the one guy who writes rules, and he writes dynamite. So you got like rock, paper, scissors, and then dynamite. He's like, here's this book, Seraphon. And you're like, fuck. So, like, in kind of the grand scheme of things, yeah. Anyway, in the grand scheme of things, I think that's going to be a really interesting show. So, where your book is written at in Age of Sigmar, like if it's written by the Bin guy or the Sin guy, I think is a problem because it's almost like that there are two games happening at the same time. I feel like you could run a tournament between the two different book styles or the two different book writers, and you would end up with a really interesting game, a really interesting meta. I think the games would be better. Personally, again, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Thanks, Tom Dix, for paying it forward from the gift they got from Scrivo. You're a babe. However, Cities and Oryx books released together seem to be written by the good guy, although arguably Cities was the best book from the Bin guy. Yeah, Zips Up Rap thinks rock, paper, scissors is terrible. Said it before and I'll say it again, the so-called bad writer is the better one. The guy who makes the stupidly powerful ones is the bad writer. Angle, that's where I don't agree, right? So, I'll talk about, I don't want to get too crunchy, but I would say the fact that, so let's use Seraphon as our example for, he's the Sin guy. He's the guy that writes the powerful books, the dynamite books, right? I actually think that he writes the better books. Let me explain as to why. Because he writes rules that interact with each other quite nicely. You, as the player, get more choices with your army. Some of those choices are very strong, I agree. But if all of the books were written at that level, all of your opponent's choices would be wrong. I don't agree with auto-hitting and auto-wounding and auto-casting like you see with Teclas. I think there still needs to be a developer, like, on the end of that. There needs to be like someone who's like, hey, I love how you've written how monsters in Thunder Lizard are better. That's great. Big thumbs for this. You know, really nice how this all plays with each other. Big thumb. Really enjoy it. But we're just going to scale back this particular part. Or, hey, I love that you've given Croak all these abilities, but his points value, we're going to put him up. Yeah? Like, whatever that might be. I think if everything, but then when you look at another book, and I don't want to keep dogging on the Slaanesh book at all, but you look at the Slaanesh book, all Slaanesh book gives you is no internal buffs at all, so you have very little choice as a player, which is super weird. Your sub-factions give you nothing, which is super bad and super weird, like +1 to charge. Whoop-de-doo. Like, it doesn't make your army play in any particular way or polarize in any way. Your battalions are terrible, yeah? So, I know you guys are quite, like, I'm not arguing for everything should be, like, broken. That's not what I'm aiming for. I think Seraphon points need to go up like 20-30% across the board. That's roughly what I think needs to happen. But then the book isn't overly a bad book, like, because the book is a great book. The reason the book is so strong is because everything works together, which is great as a list writer and also as a player. You're like, this army cohesively makes sense. The books that are quote unquote bad, like, are books that don't work well together well, and like, just because they're cheaper doesn't. Anyway, I don't want to go on. We'll talk about that next week. I think that's a really great conversation. I can't wait to have that. That's next Wednesday. Me and Donal really going to look forward to that conversation. I think that's super fun because some of the books are really hard to identify. Some of the books are super hard to identify. Like Uruk Warclans, I think was written by the Sin guy, so like the Seraphon writer, for example. But I feel like the Bone Splitters part wasn't. Like, if that makes sense. Angle, problem with having so many buffs is, as we've discussed before, it becomes about trading because everything hits so hard. Agreed. I think the armies could also be like a proportionally bit smaller by putting the points up as well. Thanks everyone for helping us get a hype train. Whoop whoop! Appreciate you. Was it the first Realm Lords book, Sin Writer? Yes, 100%. Like, and if we've looked at some of the new rules for, if we've looked at some of the new rules for Lumineth Realm Lords, it's quite clear. Like, you know which writer did it based on the previews. Like, we already know. Okay, that's how it works. Like, I'm like, cool, this is the Sin Writer. This book is going to be crazy good. We already know this. So if you're a Lumineth guy, get hype. Your book's super good. As soon as we see the Gravelords previews, we'll know pretty much, like, what they are and who's done them, right? I think maybe a happy middle between these two things. I feel one encourages rampant power creep and the one doesn't understand basic mechanics. The problem is, with the Lumineth book, as strong as it was when you put it in, it was only towing and being in pair. Like, if you take out Seraphon Zinch, Idneth Deepkin, Lumineth Realm Lords, Seraphon Zinch, KO, I think, was written by the bad writer, I would like to point out. I think the bad writer wrote the KO book. The fact that it's good is accidental, so I wouldn't put that in that category. But we'll talk about that on Wednesday. Doesn't matter. Like, does it matter? Doesn't. Who knows? I just want you guys to have a good time. That's what I want. Like, and understanding helps us probably have a better time. I'm definitely not complaining, is the point. So I think for me, understanding something helps me, I guess, is the kind of key point, which is why I obsess so much over so many elements of this, so I can understand it all. But you probably can't understand it all, mainly because Games Workshop aren't upfront about it. If they were upfront about it, we would probably feel much happier as a community. People are like, all right, fair enough. In a normal world, I'd be counting the days until tournament report where all of the top tables are Lumineth. Iron Gutsman KO has been before point changes, though, surely. Yeah, Iron Gutsman. That's my point. Normally, in order to make a bin book better, things just get cheaper. So I think that there's a bad guy writer who doesn't write things that work together well, and then there's a good writer who makes things work together well. For some reason, the good writer also has crazy cheap points, generally. Like, all of their stuff is great and cheap. And then the bad writer, I don't know if they do the points themselves, because there's no way there's a central point body, I think. And then it's obvious that it's two dudes, and we get two different results. So, that's life. Eric Sorban. Honestly, as Bone Splitters player, I think Bone Splitters offer very good synergies, battalions, options. What they lack is some new heroes, some points reductions, and maybe slight waterfall modifications to be A tier. What happens, it's a difficult army to play, so very few players actually manage to have a competitive game. Appreciate you. That's why I think I struggle to think, like, some of the books I'm going to really struggle. I'm going to put a bunch of the books in the I don't know category. I don't know. Like, whether this was a joint project or someone else did this other book. But some books, like the Warclans book, I think was written by the Sin guy because it works together well. It works together well. The sub-faction abilities work well. The battalions make sense. Like, I think that's the one. Just constantly getting more and more powerful with some armies being way above others, seemingly zero awareness. But Angle, that's not true, because the Slaanesh book was awful, and it wasn't stronger and stronger. It wasn't even an attempt to be stronger. It wasn't very good at all, I would argue. It can't just be two writers. That feels like an insane oversight. Swoley Knight, welcome to the gag, baby. I promise. Here's an idea. They should hire a third person whose job is to edit both of the writers and set the final points. Pete, we're agreed. All right, I'm going to keep painting instead of just talking to you guys, whom I love and whomst I love. Now, I don't often go for rumours, Twitch chat. I don't often go for rumours. But I was given a pretty strong rumour yesterday. Podcast bros, if you're listening, here's an opportunity for you to spoilers potentially. But because it's a rumour, we don't know it's confirmed. I don't go in for rumours much, but I wondered if you guys wanted to talk about a rumour I heard and why I think this might be a thing. We'll see if you guys are interested. So I'll give you an opportunity to maybe switch off if you like. I don't want to hear a rumour or some bullshit, which is fine. Any book with a command trait that begins, if there are any baleful raingates on the battlefield, it's the big guy all the way. Bip, 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 bip. Is the terrain Dark Crystal inspired? Yeah, I'm doing a Dark Crystal board. So I don't know if you guys saw. Oh, the Realm Gate. It's here. Nice. So Realm Gate also part of the same board. It's quite a dense board. I've got some like crystals and lakes and other bits as part of that board. So I'm doing there's going to be some green to go on this eventually. So I'm doing a crystal board, and it's quite cool actually. So my theme for the crystal board, I know I just said I spilled some tea and then I got carried away. But yeah, my theme for the crystal board actually is there's loads of crystals in that Realm Gate, and then I've built like an observatory. So there's going to be an observatory, and I'm going to put a little wizard on it, maybe like an amethyst wizard or something. And the story of the board is that it's like some sort of like northern or wasteland or some sort of like realm between realms or something. And there's like this wizard in this like scientific observatory observing it. I don't know if anyone has read His Dark Materials trilogy. where I can't remember the name of the kind of main protagonist really, but he's like in the north studying the Northern Lights. It's kind of where I've got this idea from, and I think that'll be a really cool board. So Asriel, thank you, Marcus Rock, big love. So yeah, that's that board. That's the story of that board, and I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's gonna be sweet. All right, okay. So rumor is that the Age of Sigmar 3 start collecting box, or not start collecting box, the starter box, the rumor, and I don't know if the reason it's a rumor is there are some things that I do know, and this is something that I don't know, and so I can talk about it if that makes sense. And by talking about it, because it's come from like a third party, so like not anyone who happens to have accidentally mentioned something to me or whatever the situation. So it's something like I feel very comfortable talking about, which is why I normally don't talk about rumors, because I might have surreptitiously found something out and I don't like to talk about it. So the rumor is the start collecting Age of Sigmar 3 box is, get ready for it, Uruks. That's pretty exciting, yeah. Versus, and this is the thing, I don't know if anyone saw me do a tweet yesterday, versus Bretonnian themed Stormcast. Now, makes sense. Destruction, like Order versus Chaos was Age of Sigmar 1, Order versus Death was Age of Sigmar 2, Age of Sigmar 3, Order versus Destruction. I can see that. We know Games Workshop hates Destruction, so I'm not sure that they do a whole starter box on it, but I don't know. And then it got me thinking. Oh God. The Big Crystal is just 40k Tom Zoo Stomper, isn't it? It is. Brett's gone. Those Night Questers come in and play Stormcast Tunnels. Alright, so again, I don't know if any of that's true. So this is important. We are now dealing in unsolicited goss. I feel like my source for the goss was quite strong. But again, I want to be very conscious in saying that this isn't a fact. This isn't like something I've seen. None of that. So just a strong rumor coming out of America. And I don't want to say any more. But makes sense since no Broken Realms destruction. Agreed, right? Apparently Vince's theory on Kragnos is the new destruction god. I would agree with that as well. Let me tell you why, though. I think I've got like a kind of like a hot take. This is like the hottest of takes, I think, if you guys want to hear. Because we're all talking at the minute about the Soulblight Gravelords, right? Hype as shit. Soulblight Gravelords. Let's go, Soulblight Gravelords, right? And really, it's vampire counts, right? Uruks, like, and if they went along like Uruks, old greenskin Uruks, you know, like wyverns, greenskins, all that kind of like vibe and jazz, then we'd be like touching on the old world. Here's where my tea comes, I think. This is where I think it works. Yeah, fuck you, Robert. Tristan, love you. Do we get an AOS Indomitus box with AOS 3? 100% that's what we would end up with. Last time this happened, they told us I was 2 gigs. It is. But my Broken Realms is the end time. Back to the old world, boys. Thank you. Plymouth Troll Slayers has cracked it. Okay, let's talk about, before we get to the hot tea, let's set some context in. Citadel writers, so the narrative and rules writers in Games Workshop, who produce all the plastic kits, are separate to the Forge World writers. Very important, yeah? Citadel gets quite pissy when Forge World does stuff and it goes really well. See the Horus Heresy, the Mechanicum range, other things, bringing Primarch models back. Forge World makes Primarch models, Games Workshop makes Primarch models. Forge World makes Mechanicum stuff, Games Workshop makes Mechanicum stuff, right? You get it? That there is a, you fuckers are trying to steal our product, we'll make it. You get what I'm saying? Forge World do a thing, Games Workshop get pissy and do a thing. Right? Even though they're the same company, same thing. Right? So here's my hot tea. Forge World announce they're going to do the old world. Yeah? A couple of years ago, or whatever it was. A year ago, maybe more. Yeah? Games Workshop find this out, or maybe they knew that. So the Citadel guys, who aren't the Forge World guys, find this out, and they get pissy. right? And they're like, oh, you're going to bring back the old world and steal all of our customers. Because don't forget, all of those fantasy players, potentially like you guys, are going to spend money from Forge World, which is a different profit and loss sheet, to the Citadel guys and the fantasy guys, different profit and loss sheet. Okay? So if I was in my own company making cakes, and then the other company were like, we're going to make fudge now. Like, oh, why do people buy fudge instead of my cakes? We'll make fudge as well. So this is where the hot tea comes. I think Age of Sigmar 3, mechanically and canonically, the story, and also the armies, are meant to be the closest we can get to the old world, because they don't want Forge World to have their money. So, vampire counts? Yes. Bretonnian Stormcast? Yes. Greenskin Gits? Yes. Right? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see where I'm at? Potentially Wood Elves from the Kernothi, or whatever it's going to be. Yeah? Yes. See where I'm at? There was the charge reactions rumour as well. Thank you, Iron Gutsman. There was also the rumour coming out of Grimdark Live about charge reactions or something like that. Do you get what I'm saying? So, that's my hot tea. My hot tea. We are getting a bunch of models that remind us of when we got into Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and maybe a bunch of armies, and maybe a bunch of mechanics that remind us of that, because some salty bitches in the Citadel department. Which is some great tea. Like, you really have to understand the inner workings and mechanics of the company itself to really understand why we might be getting what we're getting. And I just think that that's some hot tea, and I'm really excited about it. I will never be able to know if that's true. Not one time. Never have been in those meetings and never been a fly on the wall. But I just think, as like headcanon and gossip, it's like 11 out of 10. It's salacious. It's salacious. Boom. I just loved everything that was said, getting pissy everywhere. I would love that to be true. Great tea. Thank you. Thank you. Now, obviously, I don't know. I don't watch enough beauty guru chatter to know what I meant to do at this point. Obviously, reflect, be mindful. That's all I could tell the Citadel guys. Be mindful, and make sure, you really process your feelings internally. But the tea here is lovely. Yeah. Thanks, Witch King. But like, so the old world's coming back. Like, that's a separate product. But do you know what anyway, that's my thoughts. The Unicorn Wizard says, I would like to hear your thoughts on Soulblight Gravelords. I've seen some reveals. Hype as shit. I think they look amazing. I think they look awesome. There's a nice grimdark vibe to them that I really dig. Not really big on the Blood Knights, but big on the Skeleton Warriors. Love that we're going to get a range of vampires. Hope we get like a host of generic vampires. Because then that means that, like, if I don't love, like, the vampire with the mask. Great sculpt. Really good. Not quite my vibe, though. Like, I get it, but not quite my vibe. I'm quite into, like, the kind of, like, armored vampire thing. And there are loads of 3D sculpts out there for that. So really hoping that there is, like, a bunch of, like, build-your-own vampire kind of, like, there's a bunch of different characters of vampires, like Vampire on Zombie Dragon and Vampire on Foot, Vampire on Horse, Vampires and Necromancer, like there's that range. So if I don't love the sculpts that they have, I can go find some alternative sculpts and fit that into an army and maybe kind of make it like my army and make it more like, because I'm a narrative guy, as we all know, basically. So I wouldn't be against Retro if they didn't have something good and then do their damnedest to make it work. Cool use to negative space with the female vampire. Yeah, like I'm not saying it's a bad. Like we can all appreciate something that's not for us, like that people love, and it just isn't for us, right? And that's super okay. Like, but I'm really into the vampires. I'd be very excited to read the story. Very excited to read the story. See how that fits in. Maybe it will be like slightly more. I don't know, real's probably the wrong word. I don't know. Like, I'm excited for it anyway. Like, I think it's just because, like, and if we're 100% honest, huge fan of Buffy and then Angel TV series. Grew up on it as a kid. There's no way that didn't have some sort of mental effect on me. Saw Interview with the Vampire with Tom Cruise, and as much as he's mental, it was an incredible film. Like, grew up with Blade, the film. Like, vampires are just cool in my world. Obviously, own the DVD box set of Twilight. I don't, but big shout out to my friend Donal on that one. I think the Generic Vampire Lord is the one with the bat hair and shield. That's the only vamp sculpt that I'm met on, says Shane, by the way. Very cool way to make bigger characters on the table without just sticking them on a mount. Vampires book Sin Guy. I'm hoping. I'm excited to see vampires being their own people again instead of just Nagash's bitches. Angle, I agree with that loads. Big love on that. I think it's going to be really good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. If that's what you wanted from me. Rules wise, no idea how I'd like it to work. I would quite like to see some vampire like elite infantry. I get that we've seen skeleton warriors, so we're probably going to get like necromantic, like thralls and all that other jazz. And I understand that. I think that's a nice mechanic to have in the army. But I would also like to see, like we've seen with the Lumineth, I would like to see some like vampire, like heavy infantry. We've seen the Blood Knights, so we've got vampire cavalry. I'd like to see some like monstrous creatures as well. I'd like it to have all the nice profiles. I know that's wanting everything, but I'm pretty certain, having seen the range, the size of the Lumineth release, we're probably going to end up with a pretty massive vampire counts release. Even if we don't get it all in wave 1, eventually there'll be a bunch of stuff. Won't the old world just be the same as Middle Earth? Big box release with old sculpts, new characters, old sculpt releases, small amount of support for Forge World with not much hype, so it's probably not. Yeah, maybe. But I think, like, if I was a business, I'd feel threatened. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just think what you would do in that situation if you were internally in the business. What, we just clap them on the back and wish them well as they stole half your customers? Like, it's not how people work. I think RPG Vampires is the Masquerade, and a different clan is having some input into Gravelords. Okay. Do you reckon Be'lakor will get much of a rules change with the new model? Yeah, I think so. The 40k Be'lakor got some significant rules changes. I think we'll end up seeing a more boss-ass Be'lakor as well. So we'll see whether or not it's going to be worth it. But I think, yeah, we'll end up with a big one. Thank you to Scrivo. What the hell? For donating 5 gift subscriptions in the chat. That's Scrivo, you do not have to do that. Is that because we're only like 10 subscriptions away from hitting a new sub goal? Because we are. Because then you can get a new emote. So thank you to Scrivo. That's lovely of you. I didn't even know you were here, so big love to you. That's great. I'm going to use some emotes just to celebrate the Scrivs, because he does all the emotes. Where are my emotes at? What am I going to do? Archie? I'm using Archie too much at the minute. I'm going to do some old school jet emotes with some stonks. That's what I'm doing. I think Old World will be done in such a way that will be completely incompatible with AOS. Darker Design, I 100% agree with that. But that doesn't mean people won't spend their money there, right? Like, just because it's incompatible doesn't mean people aren't going to spend their money. Rob, what do you think of the Broken Realm Kangaroos will be about? What do you think the Broken Realm Kragnos will be about? Oh, it's a great question. I don't know. I think Vince is pretty on the money with it being a god coming from the realm of destruction. I reckon the Destruction Boys will probably chase it around. We don't really have any like reasons about like what Great Wars are, and maybe they'll be chasing this fellow around, which will be cool. I think that's probably as much as I can theorize on it at the moment. But I do think it's more destruction related than it is going to be order related. I know listen, I'm as excited for the Kurnothi as everyone. Wood Elves are my jam. I think they're super cool, and I would really like to see them integrate. I think we saw actually maybe in Underworlds, no, not Underworlds, Warcry. We saw the Kurnothi have the Sylvaneth keyword, which is very exciting. I'd very much like to see a load of the Kurnothi stuff and or old Wood Elf stuff get tied into Sylvaneth, and just make that kind of a big range all in. The rumours of Uruks coming for Heroes 3 makes me think it's something Destro now, says Scrivo. A centaur, like the one Heracles fought, probably. Angor, it's definitely a centaur, which... Propagation, thank you for resubscribing. Nothing like Prime Sub expiring and not being available yet. Oh, sorry, buddy. So, yeah. Oh, that was a Curse City card. Thank you, Diadrin. That's what it was. So, yeah, in Curse City, we saw a card. Thank you very much for that. We saw a card where the Kurnothi /or Wood Elf character, what are they called now? Wanderers? Wanderers character had the Sylvaneth keyword, which makes me think that we might get all of the Wanderers stuff put into Sylvaneth in the future, which is hype. I'll come with that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be nice. I think they recognise, or they must recognise, they made a mistake with the Sylvaneth book. So it would be really nice to see them address that in the future. I'm going to say, I tell you what, I'm fucking terrible at painting. Like, just painting the lines is a fucking nightmare, isn't it? It's not even blended. I'm just struggling to paint inside the lines like a child. Like a child. Come on. Like, how did I miss that? It's huge as well. It's not like it's a mini. The airbrush bit looks ace, thanks. You guys see that? Yeah. I think it looks quite nice at a distance. There we go. That's a nice vibe. It's just going to take forever, apparently. Oh well. A big 3D colouring book that I'm bad at. It's what it is. It's a big 3D colouring book that I'm bad at. Open the questing chamber. Yeah, so let's talk about those rumours of Bretonnian style Stormcast. That's interesting. That landed in my inbox yesterday, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. I've seen a lot of people banging on about it recently. So how do I feel about it being Bretonnian? I mean, it's cool, right? Like, it's like a good vibe. Questing knights on foot. Maybe we won't see cavalry. Maybe we'll see... I mean, they're not far off. Big shout out to my man Velatron, who years ago was putting Bretonnian heads on all of his Stormcasts. I think I've seen several people do that. But as soon as you put Bretonnian heads on them and think of them as questing knights, it makes... Because the problem is... Okay, I'm going to say something now. And I don't want anyone to be upset. I don't think Stormcast are very cool. Does anyone think that they're cool? Because I don't think they're cool. But if you were to immediately put some heraldry and make all Stormcast Bretonnian, cool, right? That, like, unsubscribe. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you think they're cool. That's a me thing. I don't. Just because I think it doesn't mean you don't have to think it, right? I don't think they're cool. How can someone say something so controversial yet so brave? Making Stormcast Knights instead of human ones is exactly the kind of almost there but not quite what people want Games Workshop would make, says Angle. Yeah. Sigmar aren't cool, says Tough Years. Second range was cooler than the originals. Agreed with that. But, like, still not cool, right? They look good, but not cool. There's a guy here in France with an amazing Stormcast army in that style, says Marcus Rock. Exactly. I love Stormcast. I think a different nation of Stormcast is a better idea at this point in the setting than just open another chamber. I think also if you make them Bretonnian themed with, like, so if they kind of, so this is where I'm at. I think they do Primarch Legions 40k a la 40k, but then it's all pushed towards like heraldic, like Bretonnian style. Am I making sense? And so, like, these guys are like Hammers of Sigmar, and they're like fucking, like, I think that makes him cool, right? Some of the Stormcast Reforged souls have to be Bretonnians. They do. But then they gave us new Blood Knights and Zombies, so I guess they earned a little benefit of the doubt. Asking from a friend, but does anyone know if there was a way to get your subscription refunded when a streamer turns out to be a wronger than a wrong thing on a wrong day, which is when he's most wrong? I'm sorry, Dave. But I like your Eldar painting at the moment. It looks really nice. I'm game with lizards riding dinosaurs with laser guns. Stormcast tunnels can never be cool. Thank you! Like, they can't be cool. So, anyway. Alright. Like, I think making the Bretonnian is that's a switch up I hadn't seen coming. Might not be true, but it's now what I want. And also, if you're someone out there who's listening and like, Rob said, don't get your hopes up. I don't know if that's definitely true, so don't get, like, too excited, but I'd be excited if that was true. Alright? I don't want you guys to get, like, mad at me, because, like, although I imagine in 24 hours' time, there's a Facebook post where this streamer said, and there's a whole bunch of people calling me a liar. And I have specifically said I don't know if it's true. So, can't wait for that Facebook thread, because I'm going to go in, say lol, and leave. A Stormcast lady of the lake that brings her own endless spell lake. Perfect. I'll open Photoshop now. Oh my god. Brettcast peasants give us reg. Okay, yeah, you could do that. What about what if becoming Stormcast? What like? Because all of the Stormcast souls, I get it. Like they were being reforged. We're consistently. Sorry, my camera's not focused. I'm trying to sort it out. We're consistently waiting for the day when the story goes to the Stormcast becoming evil because they lose all of their humanity because of the reforging. We're awaiting that. Yeah. Okay. So there is a ticking clock over Stormcast. Stormcast as a race will end because eventually they'll all become these dehuman automatons or whatever. So there is the conversation where it's like, how do you get new Stormcast? So they're going to get the souls of heroes. So maybe we end up with peasants or people who eventually want to become Stormcast. You know, they're like, make me a Stormcast Sigmar or something, right? For the dude. Stormcast for the dude. Yeah, that works. An army of Stormcast Eternals, Raiden style from Mortal Kombat or Big Trouble in Little China would be cool. Also agree. That is a whole different direction I wasn't expecting, but I'm in. Already some sweet STLs out there for some nice proxies, says Chris CB. Nice. Stormcast needs a death company. There we go. Sigmar enacts the Thunder Warriors protocol of the Stormcast. Maybe, but like what I'm saying is they're like it's also a big range. So how do you reinvigorate a range which is already huge? You need the range to end. Stormcast Eternals is Dwarven Engineering. It will last forever. Sorry, Grinaldi. I apologise for insulting dispossessed engineering. I'm sorry. So you're saying Brett souls are at the bottom of the barrel? No. What I'm saying is, like in the current timeline, like let's say today, there's a whole bunch of Stormcasts who've been reforged time and time again. They're battling it out, reforge. Next couple of 100 years, how are they going to get new Stormcasts? Maybe we end up with some like peasants / not peasants, like what's the right word? Like squires. Squires. Humans who are like squires to Stormcast. They're like, I got your back. Isn't there one in the comics? Isn't the comics one? Anyway, you know what I'm saying. Can we have vehicles for Stormcast because I really want to create Dude, where's my they are searching for a replacement to the reforging after the destruction, sabotaging the Anvil. Maybe, but maybe they'll just retcon them, right? Easy. Techlist does his attack in Broken Realms and jailbreaks a load of souls from the gash. That works as well. Thank you, Angle. That works. Why not reinvigorate a range with new ideas rather than being referential? They could literally be anything else. I mean, I agree. Although, I guess it's whether or not anyone thinks that Stormcast have like an identity problem. I don't know. They don't have to. Like, I quite like the idea that they will push Stormcast because they are like the backbone of the story, right? So I think having Stormcast change in any significant way, doesn't have to be Bretonnian, having them change in any significant way, like, you know, it might be a long road, but having the payoff of some of the Stormcast turning evil is something I think we would all be excited about, because we've been on that journey with the game and the story and the army for a long time. They don't have to all turn evil. They could, like, solve it, like, moments later, so only some of them turn evil. But I think having the story progress in that way is actually really cool. And I really like that. But, like, you know, very much like we had the payoff with Sinesh, right? Where Sinesh was trapped between realms, blah-de-blah, blah-de-blah. Like, but then we ended up with all of these Sinesh, like, armies and units, like, being a part of that story. And I think that's wicked. I'm doing an Elven KO at the moment and find out that Stormcasts are only human, so I can't thematically do an Elven Stormcast, dude. Made me sad. Oh, sorry, you can. Like, don't ever listen to anyone else. Like, it's your story, it's your hobby. If you want them to be Elven Stormcast, crack on. I know you're not saying that. I'm playing Internet's Advocate so you can avoid the outrage. Oh, okay, thanks, buddy. Love you. I like Stormcast as elite spearhead of the cities rather than the big main force focused on it. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, they're very much, you know, they are Space Marines, right? Like, they're the 100 warriors who you bring in to fight 1,000 people versus an army in itself. Vampiric Stormcast created in Cursed City is a mucho's great idea. That would be sweet to do some Stormcast bodies with some like vampire heads and stuff. That'd be nice. Feral Stormcast would be cool. That would be cool. That's a nice way to take it. That's what I guess you could maybe break Stormcast up into all the different routes, right? You could have the Feral Stormcast, Bretonnian Stormcast, Vampiric Stormcast, Dead Stormcast, like Chaos Stormcast. Like, it might be a nice way to break it apart. Stormcasts aren't infused with bits of Sigmar power juice. If they go evil, surely they just explode. Maybe, but you could just corrupt the Sigmar power juice, right? I'm no Sigmar Power Juice engineer, right? I haven't got my degree in Sigmar Power Juice engineering, but maybe there's a way, probably called magic, to fix that problem. Who knows? Chaos Stormcast or Chaos Warriors? No. Chaos Warriors are Chaos Warriors. They still have. I don't know if they have humanity, but they are more. I don't think they're on the same page. Dan, thanks for subscribing. I remember one time I was in a Varrock stream and he was talking about Bretonnian, and I said they're still around, just look at FEC, and he read my comment and called me a toxic member of the community. What? Wow. Well, that is strong. That's a strong. I'm so sorry that you got. That's not nice at all. Dear, that's interesting. Do you really care? Like, I only care when people I respect insult me. So that's all that bothered. Try all new corrupted Sigmar juice, hand swerved for freshness. Will Chaos Stormcast just muddy up Chaos Warriors and a faction? Maybe. Good glorious chant, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying like what. It was more in reference to Owen's question, and he was saying like, does everything have to be referential? And maybe he's right as well. It doesn't have to be. I think Age of Sigmar is really lucky, and we have a very good evolving story, and maybe we'll physically see the evolving story of those models. One of the things I really liked about the Horus Heresy range when I got into it, and I got into it about book 2, for all you Horus Heresy fans out there. Was they said, because I went to one of the Heresy Weekenders, they said at the time, which I doubt is going to pull out, but maybe they will, that they were going to go through the whole Horus Heresy series, and obviously this was before Adley Salon Past and a bunch of other stuff, but they were like, we're going to do all the Primarchs, and then we're going to do all the demon version of the Primarchs, and we're going to, they were going to go through, you were basically going to be able to collect the armies as you went through the Horus Heresy books and the story, and I know, that was a fucking lie. But maybe it wasn't at the time. Maybe that was the plan. And I quite like that. I liked that at the time. I was like, that's so cool. And I like that where we are now with Age of Sigmar, that maybe some of the story that we're seeing will push to us having, story that we had in the past. So instead of just Nagash and Stormcast are we're at war now. We get bonuses versus these are our anti-ghost weapons. It would be cool, if they have something that, we've already been a part of, or, the Stormcast getting worse. I just think it's nice. Anyway, all three of us are Heresy fans, but we love it. Default says, could you imagine Feral Stormcast designed as fractal Stormcast units? Where the armor is cracked and splitting apart with lightning coming out of it. That's awesome. I like that. N.A. Brooks, maybe the evil Stormcast come out and return as Chaos Dwarves. We're going to be Chaos Dwarves are going to be so good, man. So good. Who knows if they're coming out? But I live and I dream. Dumlek, what up? Void Dragon model has showed us they can make a fractured model work. That's true. That is true. Maybe we'd end up with something like the Void Dragon, like a Stormcast soul gone rampant. Maybe it doesn't happen to a whole army, but maybe an endless spell. Or something where we end up with something that looks like the Void Dragon, and it's just a Stormcast soul gone rogue, exploded out of its armor or something. That would be fucking cool. That would be really good. Also, nice to see you, Dumlek. Thanks for being here. Anyway, that was my hot tea for today. Big chat about that, which is fun. What's everyone doing? How is everyone? I hope everyone's okay. Podcast bros, if you're listening, I hope you're okay too. Big Fish, if you're driving home, I hope you're okay. That's a singular shout out. AOS would be great for Chaos Dwarves. Their whole half machine, half demon thing is a good fit, I think. I agree, Dranzil. And I think also Centaurs, because Games Workshop is obsessed with cows, which is very, very fun. What is everyone collecting? Who is in on the Lumineth Realm Lords at the weekend? It's going to be very hard for me to not want to pick up some Rue Cavalry because of the giant Rue tattoo on my back. Which is why, if ever I do collect the Lumineth Realm Lords, then obviously that's my justification. Please fight me on that. Stormcast Mercenary Company, that's Fractured Stormcast, they're only a Merc Force. That's interesting. But what would be the driving force of like a merc company of Stormcast? Like, they're not mercantile in any way. They don't want for anything. They're dispossessed souls. I guess they'd want to try and recapture their humanity. But I think as you probably slip further and further from humanity, you care less for it. You don't feel the loss of something. Like, so if you were, as you fall further away from humanity, I don't imagine you're like, I need to recapture my feelings. I don't think that's how that works. So it would be a weird kind of like line. And I guess probably as you slip away from your humanity, you care about less, I guess. I don't know. I'd have to do some research. Rob has a Lumineth Tramstyle. I do. I have 2 lady centaurs, one on each thigh. Thigh-sized is what I have. What if the new Centaur guy is the new version of Shard of the Executioner, Herald of the Return of Asgore? Then you will hear nothing from me but months of Chaos Dwarf talk. Months of Chaos Dwarf talk. It will be disgusting and sickening and just take forever. And you'll be bored of it. It will go down to like 3 viewers who are all obsessed with Chaos Dwarves. And I'll be okay with it. So, my dog stinks, says Tristan, and I'm dealing with it. I'm glad, Tristan. I hope, maybe wash him? Love Lumineth, but the price on them is mental. Are they expensive? I guess. I don't really... You mean... I guess... Can we talk about the pricing for a moment, based off points? Grimslacker, have a great day, man. Look after yourself. Loads of love. Loads of love for you. One of the things that's kind of interesting is all of your Daughters of Cain models are super cheap points-wise, and you're like, oh, I've got to buy so many, but at least, same with the Lumineth Realm Lords, but then at least if you're collecting Celeste, you're like, I only have to buy I've got to buy 40% less. That's nice, right? That's a nice thing from Games Workshop. If you think about it, the bin guy, when he writes the books, he's like, I don't want you guys to have to spend too much money on these, so 40% on all the points. That's really nice of him. I'm hoping for Elven Phalanx with ranks of Warden, Sentinels, Ballistas, BSB in the middle, and Terrain Cleansing the Realms. That's cool, JP. I think that's a really nice look to an army as well. Ultimately, the little cavalry running off. Same with the Dorm Riders, your big Sentinels, and you just got loads. One of the things is you've got loads of support pieces coming for an army you've already got, which is obviously all of your Wardens. And then, oh my god, I imagine those bolt throwers are going to be so good. We haven't even seen the rules for the bolt throwers. I'm going to be sick in my mouth. Yet another reason the bin guy should hold the power, says Uncle. Right, I'm going to keep painting. What time is it? It nearly hit the time. It's like I know what an hour is now, just by yammering away. I've enjoyed the chat with you guys though today. Thank you. It's been really, really nice. Don't forget, me, Nick, and Tom will be later tonight. It's been very good. Me and Owen are doing a show tomorrow about the lists for an event that I'm covering on Saturday day. So we're going to be covering an Age of Sigmar event Saturday day, and we'll be doing a list review show tomorrow, which will be super fun. And then, because it's towards the end of the month, me and Dayton, whose birthday it was yesterday, on Sunday we'll be doing our brand new monthly review show, where we're going to review a bunch of new STLs that are going to come out from a bunch of different companies, and just review them, look at them, talk at them. So generally a really exciting week, ultimately, which is fun. I now want to make a Fallen version of Stormcast and paint them up a similar colour scheme to my Nighthaunt and match the bases, etc. Already did that with my new BR to make them look like a single force. Volzen, that sounds great. And not at all toxic, Volzen. Yeah. Honestly, fuck that guy. Can't take a joke. Fucking hell. I'm looking forward to the Lumineth resurrecting High Elves and Swift Hawk Agents. Oh my god, Mandollies. Imagine if Swift Hawk Agents came back. I'm in. Robo Saber, DOK is famously expensive, £35 for 10 Witch Elves, and when most armies used to have 70 plus. Famously expensive. That's kind of my point. If the Ballista had 1 bolt in one offensive battle and 2 bolts in AOS 2, they'll get upgraded to 3 bolts in AOS 3. Don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe 2, maybe 4. Maybe 4. We'll see. We're days away from finding out. So previews will go up Friday night. So by Saturday we'll go. And I was a bit torn on Saturday about what to do, whether or not I kind of sit in front of the computer and read all of the information as it's coming in and take my own notes so we can do it on the Monday show, or if we do the live coverage. But I've decided to do the live coverage because like everyone's going to get preview copies anyway and already kind of beat me to the punch. So whatever, we'll just like do live coverage, which I find really fun and interesting. And then Sunday we'll do that other stuff, and then Monday we'll just start talking about it. And yeah, all the people with preview copies will get it. But I mean, at the end of the day, they'll shill as hard as they can anyway, so it doesn't really fucking matter. Wait, is there a new article up? Oh my god, let's do a reaction right now at the end of the show! Thank you, JP. Let's get it on. Hold on one moment. Let me just make it so we can read this together live. A new article. Thank you to Games Workshop for giving us some fun. Here we go. Right. So, let's get into it, boys. Okay, hold on. Let me just... If I move that over there, is it... Yeah, that's fine. Right, okay. So, raiding around the battlefield in a stylish floating temple is the most Lumineth thing ever. Terrible title. We've looked at some of the new Lumineth heroes as part of our week of Realm Lords rules, and while on one of them has a mountain of his own, the others have to rely on their boring old feet to get around. If only they had some kind of floating platform to rest on. As befits the name Realm Lords, the Lumineth are masters of coaxing the land itself to fight alongside them when they march to war. While this often means the elemental spirits of Hysh are enlisted into the Hyshian armies, it doesn't always result in a sentient mountain picking up a hammer and bashing some heads in. Okay, so Floaty Island. The shrine's Luminor are free-floating metaliths that dot the mortal realms. This is a metalith. Interesting. Repurposed by the Scenari with their shrines dedicated to the elementers they reserve. By directing the natural flow of magic that congregates around the base, hovering islands, these mages of Lumineth can cleanse corruption. Okay, cleansing rituals. Once per turn, you can reroll one casting, dispelling, or unbinding roll for friendly Lumineth Realm Lords hero that is within 12 inches of this terrain feature. From the second battle round in your hero phase, if this terrain feature has a Shrine Guardian, I imagine Shrine Guardian someone that's like Garrison in it. You can add, if you do so, add 12 inches to the range of this ability. So 24 inches, you can reroll one casting, dispelling, and unbinding roll. That's whatever. I mean, it's free. So it's just within 12 inches of this terrain feature. The Sin guy hates writing Holy Within. He's like, nah, man, just fucking bang a tape measure out 12 inches. Not into that at all. The bin guy's like, Holy Within everything. He's like, fucking love this. Personally, I don't want to do like a psychological profile, but I reckon the Sin guy's house is a mess. He's like, I'll get to that later, like, oh, whatever, it's kind of close enough. It's a bit disorganized, and I reckon like the minimalist design that we've got in the bin guy's house is going to be like, woohoo! Right, okay. So, cleansing rituals, second battle round. Okay, so so they're already great at casting, they're better at casting. Whatever. By garrisoning the shrine, a Lumineth Realm Lord's hero becomes its Shrine Guardian. So, okay, so if you have a dude inside there, but he's not near an objective, right? So, and you got to spend 100 and so points to make that happen. 100 or so points to reroll one casting. Can you cast a spell while you're in it? I don't think you can you? Can you? Can you shoot out of a garrison? Rob. Note to Rob. Right, garrison rules. By garrison unit, not only do the rituals allow magic-wielding guardians to exercise great control over their spells, but the position high above the battlefield gives those with command abilities much easier time directing their troops. Once per turn, you can use a command ability with this terrain feature Shrine Guardian without a command point being spent. Okay, that's quite good. Bin guy's force for order of justice. Are we not allowed to say their actual names? Winner Dave, it's not that like whenever we're critiquing bin guys and sin guys' work, I don't want it to be about them as human beings. I want it to be about their body of work and not them as people. As much as I made like a derogatory joke about, well, it wasn't derogatory, a fun joke I think about maybe their psychological profiles. That's not what I want. I don't want to be attacking the people. Like, it's not what 2021 Robin wants to be. I think it's the right decision. So you can just use a command ability. Okay. Fine. That's 1 free CP. So basically, it's minus 50 points for your army, effectively, and it's once per turn. Oh, that's really good. So basically, 5 free command points over the course, and we already think command point is worth 5 points. So that's basically 250 points for the army for free. Quite aside from its role as a potent force multiplier, do you even know what that means? The model itself is an eye-catching centerpiece. I don't care about that. Give me more rules. Oh no, there's no more rules. Shrines of Luminor arriving for pre-order. Okay. Alright. Interesting. Free inspiring presence per turn. Yeah. I mean, that's quite interesting. Yeah, that's pretty good. Does it move as well? It doesn't say if it moves. I don't think it moves. I think we thought it might move, but no word on it moving. Doesn't sound like it moves. Shrine of Luminor. No, it doesn't move. Sorry, on the secret residence, I should look. Yeah, doesn't say that they move. So that's pretty good. Wow. So you could use the command ability from the Calathar. Oh, okay. No mention if it moves. It probably does that. 1 per turn is 10, Rob. Be outraged. Wait, 1 per turn is 10? What am I reading wrong? Once per turn, you can use a command ability. Once per turn, not once per battle round. Fuck! Okay. Fuck! Okay, alright, now I'm outraged. Okay. Alright. Shit! I mean, that works really nicely if there are also retroactive, if there are command abilities in Age of Sigmar 3 which you can do in your opponent's phase as well. Like those charge reactions we talked about. That's a lot. That's 500 points of value. That's 500 points of value for free. Shit. That's true. Iron Gutsman is right. Games which are trying to make Gargants good by making good terrain, and then you can smash the terrain, making Gargants stronger. Lucky they can't reroll the spell, which makes opponent's CP cost double for free for the same terrain piece. I suppose everyone can garrison it. Let's hope it's like Seraphon 1 where you could deploy anything. I reckon terrain may have a cost in OS3. I don't think that's true, but maybe. Cathalar on the terrain piece. Your mother was absolutely your father smells of elderberries. Now go away or we should join you a second time. Sire likes CP. That's true. Sire does really like CP for being able to double stack the 8th Court. We already have seen that there are already ways to generate extra CP as well. Also, if you're in a garrison, you're -1 to hit and you're also +1 save. So it does mean your character or support character is even stronger. We'll have to wait and see how the whole book turns out, but that's pretty good. Like, pretty good. What's the Sinesh terrain piece do? Like, I know you can summon from it, but like, what does it do? Hold on, I've got to get into this, because this is a good one. The Fane of Sinesh. If you spend priority points, you can summon from it, whatever. If the hero you picked has an artifact of power, so at the start of your hero phase, you can sacrifice 1 artifact and you can get +1 to hit rolls. Oh dear. See, like, that's what I mean, right? That's how it's clearly 2 different writers. You take a wound on a 2+, you get +1 to hit. So it's negative, potentially only get a thing, +1 to hit. Versus the Sin guy who's like, get in this thing, definitely do this thing, also have these extra things. No dice rolling needed. 2 different worlds. Lol, this is FEC Throne lets you use once per game command ability for free. Lumineth, hold my 8th a bit, yeah. Whatever, man. We already know the book is going to be bonkers. Like, I'm cool with it. Like, whatever. Just fucking let's go. Like, I can't wait to beat up elves. If, like, this is where I'm at with it, right? If the elves are brilliant, like, if they're, like, fucking giga broken, I don't mind. Let me tell you why. Right? because loads of people are going to run them, and I get to, every tournament, smash elves in the face. Maybe I don't get to smash them, maybe they smash me, but like the raw hatred in my heart for elves is going to be directed. It's going to be there, and I'm going to be like, like every dead elf, I'm like, fucking get in the bin, you piece of shit. So that's fine. So like, fucking, that's brilliant. Bring them on. Bring them on, elf overlords. We'll see if you're the overlord. That's what we'll do. We'll see if you are strong enough to take out me. Yeah, that's right. I'll play fucking Chaos Swords. I'll fucking shoot in the face. Anyway, yeah, it's pretty strong. I just want to point that out. I'm not. I am not surrounded. I am just in a target-rich environment. Is exactly correct. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, yeah. If Lumineth Realm wants to get a mobile hammer, we're in trouble, boys. We are. They don't have a cavalry-based combat unit though. That's important. They've got a cavalry-based archer unit, but they don't have cavalry-based. They got I mean, they do. They've got the Dawn Riders, who are quite good, I guess. But all Lumineth need is Gore Grunters, and they're pretty good. Yeah, but they don't have the sculpt for that, right? We haven't seen what the Bolt Thrower does, so it's worth talking about. Right. Well, thanks for helping me with that live react. That was fun. Second guy wrote this, unplugged his keyboard, and then walked over to Big Guy's desk, smashed his keyboard down and left for the day. I really want you guys to start coming up with some psychological profiles for the Bid and Sing guys, because it's better if we make them funny. We'll emotionally cope better with the game. Right? We'll emotionally cope better. Yeah, but all their archers are supposed to be good in close combat. The articles the battle. We'll see. All right, whatever. I'm going to continue painting up terrain. This is what I got. I got prep for the 40k show tonight, so I am going to bid you, gentlemen and ladies, adieu. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. I, for one, welcome our Elvish overlords. And because they got to buy another book in 6 months, so now that the joke's on them is really what it is. It could be a great sitcom, Bid and Sit. Would a unit say Wardens be in cover if they're below this? No. Because it's a garrison. So just a quick point for everyone, a garrison. A garrison you can either place models on, so you can't place models on a garrison. You also can't land on a garrison, and you have to move over a garrison. You can't also, I don't think, move up and down a garrison. So like, if it's in the way, it's like blocking. And it's basically impassable, but if you start within 6 inches, you can get in. Those are the garrison rules. So I think that's good. Right, you're all brilliant. Thanks for a lovely stream and just hanging out. I know I value these. These are some of my most fun streams. So you're all wonderful, wonderful people. Have a lovely day. Patreon, podcasters, you guys, YouTube comments, all of that. You're all great, everyone on Patreon. Big love. Have a nice day. I'll see you tonight. Join me, Nick and Tom. Nick and Tom are amazing. And we're going to be talking about the Caradon book, and it's going to be really fun. So I'll see you guys later. Have a nice day. Yeah, I forgot to raid. Oh, my God. Oh, shit. Okay. Sorry about that, lads. Give me a moment. I forgot that we do this. I need to put up a big thing. Nearly fucked it, didn't I? Nearly fucked it. Whoo! Where are we going to today? I'm going to let you guys vote. So let's get into browse. So sorry about that. Oh, nice. Loads of people watching. Thanks, guys. Big love. That's lovely of you. It's always nice. We're always like the top channel. Twitch gang, Honest Wargamer gang. Like, we're the best. We. Not me. We. So, fucking love you guys. Who can we raid? The Joy of Painting Minis. Oh, what a nice name that is. Mean Daddy 7611. Very tempted by that. Metro Racer. Kitbash, my Black Knight hero. You've got me. You got me, Metro Racer. I'm in. Let's go raid that guy. Okay. Sorry, I just got to do this in the chat. Meme Daddy. You want to go? You want me to? I'm not raiding Meme Daddy. We should start raiding non-Warhammer people at some point, which would be really funny. Right, let's go raid Metro Racer. I've said that wrong. Oh no, I've done it. Smashed it. Let's raid one of the makeup tutorials. Next time, tomorrow, makeup tutorial raid. Let's do it, okay? But right now, we're going to go raid Metro Racer. Thanks for listening. Loads of love. Talk to you soon.